and thank you for being here. I know that your brain capacities are drifting slowly toward lunchtime, mine too. So I make this talk very easy to digest. Yeah, the pun was intended. Thanks for laughing. My name is Tra, spelled T-R-A, and I'm a consultant in cultural and technological impact. I have studied the theory and history of technology and science, so everything which I present right now is also backed up by recent research and studies. So, I keep this talk quick and efficient, which is very fitting to the topic because being quick and efficient is the main selling point why we're implementing AI tools in the first place. The narrative is quite familiar to you. You automate tasks, you increase efficiency, and free up time for what truly matters. And yes, when we isolate single tasks, when we look at the micro level, AI really can boost productivity. These tools are undoubtedly powerful. But when we zoom out, when we ask ourselves how work actually feels, the picture becomes more ambiguous. The reality is, while AI accelerates tasks, it does not necessarily make our job less stressful. AI does not help us to work less. In fact, it often makes us work more. This talk is primarily aimed at those who shape organizational structures, but it will be also valuable for employees seeking for arguments and strategies to navigate the acceleration brought about by AI. And even if you do not fall in either of those groups, the talk will still offer meaningful insights on how AI is transforming our work environments and generally just messes up our brains. Let me introduce you to a global study from Forbes, which found that 77% of employees say that AI actually has increased their workloads. Why? Because 96% of the C-level leaders expect AI to boost productivity. That's kind of logic. And in response, 81% of them has raised demands on workers. The outcome was that 71% of full-time employees report feeling burned out, which in turn undermines productivity. So even if you're not fully burned out, still 65% of them say that they feel overwhelmed with what their employers are demanding of them. So even when organizations introduce AI with the intention of making work easier, workers often experience the opposite: more pressure, tighter timelines, and rising expectations. Across studies from organizational psychology, digitalization research, and ethical AI, the same pattern appears again and again. Productivity goes up, but the workload rarely goes down. Instead of replacing tasks, AI seems to compress them. What used to take an hour now takes like 50 minutes, and then the response from the organization is often like, great, now we can do more, right? And with we, they mean you. The speed AI introduces can create a form of always-on pressure. The time we free up is often immediately reinvested in additional tasks. Organizations may not intend to exert pressure, but the logic is still built into the system. If a task takes less time, then more tasks can be done. And this is a profound shift. The baseline of productivity has changed. AI is not just a tool anymore, it is a new performance standard. Once an AI tool demonstrates that something can be done faster, that very speed becomes the new benchmark. What used to be excellent work becomes the new minimum expectation. This paradox challenges the optimistic assumption that technology naturally leads to more humane workloads. It doesn't. Productivity gains do not automatically translate into well-being gains, and efficiency does not automatically lead to relief. In addition to this constant acceleration, employees face uncertainty, frequent changes, an entire layer of invisible work that AI brings with it. For example, you have to keep up with the new tools, you have to adjust workflows, troubleshoot errors, revising AI-generated output, and keeping up with constant updates and new models. All of this is work, but it often goes unrecognized and unaccounted for. AI might save time on specific tasks, but it also introduces a continuous stream of new tasks around understanding the technology itself. It is a big mental load to keep up with the newest tools. This invisible labor becomes even more intense because AI develops at such a high speed. The moment you finally understood a tool, a new version appears and the entire learning cycle starts again. This isn't just a practical challenge. It is also a highly emotional and psychological one. Researchers call this technostress. Stress caused by constant adaptation, rapid change, and the fear of falling behind. We now have mounting evidence that AI adoption increases this stress. Employees report that they feel less control of their work, that their skills suddenly feel temporary, they are overwhelmed by the rapid technological change, they have a constant pressure to learn, and uncertainty about the future of their roles, and they are judged on a new standard of speed and output. This creates a work environment that moves faster than humans can comfortably adapt to. Even if no manager says it directly, but there's this unspoken expectation to keep up. But here's the crucial point. AI is not inherently stressful. Stress itself is not the enemy. Stress can be negative, but it can be also positive. What matters is the context, especially the organizational structure around it and the communication that surrounds its introduction. Organizations that navigate AI adoption with focus on employee satisfaction are the ones that retain their talents and also attract new ones. Research consistently shows that employees are the key stakeholders of whether AI adoption succeeds or fails. Their perceptions and reactions matter. Organizations need to retain employees who understand the business and can implement the AI tools with situative intelligence. But that simply doesn't work under conditions of job insecurity. Like people won't enthusiastically feed the new model, which will end up eating their job. Okay, I'm definitely in a lunch deficit. Sorry. Some studies have conducted that negative stress can lead to burnout, turnover intentions, and diminished work engagement. But there's also research which highlights that positive stress can foster innovation. With positive stress, AI adoption can be a motivational factor. It can be, instead of a concern, it can be an opportunity for growth and achievements. Employees can perceive it as a chance for career progress. All of these studies emphasize that the difference between negative and positive stress is made by one crucial thing. Like many women in many life situations will tell you, the key is communication. Let me highlight 3 strategies which are backed up by research, which you can incorporate into organizational processes. Communications measures could be that you engage your employees before you implement transformational changes. For example, make your discussions about productivity expectations transparent. Bring your employees into the thought process of what tools you need, what can be automated, what absolutely requires human judgment, and why. When you are not developing the product by yourself, adopting the latest AI tools can appear simple, especially when competitors showcase their successes. But relying solely on advertising claims offers a biased and often incomplete picture. Integration timelines differ for every product, and in some cases, integration may not be feasible at all. This means presenting fixed decisions can also lead to negative stress. Instead, begin the conversation early and collaboratively. Discuss which AI tools to use directly with your developers. This brings me to the second point. The second finding is that stress can be beneficial by promoting innovation behavior and agency in employees, make them part of the digital transformation. For example, bring them into the decision-making process, agree together on metrics for productivity and workload, what kind of success is due to automation, what kind of success is due to actual effort. Quantity does not automatically translate to quality. You can turn negative stress into positive stress when you emphasize that AI can reinforce job stability. The third suggestion would be to offer feedback channels. This could be, for example, through the possibility to hand in questions and concerns anonymously. Also, you can explicitly communicate that it's normal to feel uncomfortable during system changes and just acknowledge the learning time it takes to learn new tools. It might be also a good approach to not pretend that the AI implementation will be super easy to manage, because this prevents maybe some employees from asking questions or just admitting confusion. Instead, give them psychological safety to admit uncertainty and difficulty. So the three measures are: engage with employees before transformational changes, promote innovation and agency in your employees, and offer feedback channels. I'm happy to give you access to the research studies as well if you want to dive deeper into why and how. You can just mail me on tra.strategy, that's my name, tra.strategy@gmail.com. What we conclude is that organizations should consider to bring sustainability in work environments. They can create a protective buffer that prevents employees from becoming overwhelmed. The most important things are to set realistic expectations, frame AI skill development as something which can help you, and provide ongoing support. Without support, even the best tools can create negative stress. But with it, the same tools can reduce workload, increase autonomy, and generally improve satisfaction. You know the arguments. Organizations have a significant influence on how employees experience AI. Irresponsible implementation may generate short-term productivity gains, but it often comes at the expense of long-term well-being. With this talk, I want to emphasize that responsible integration is a strategic investment. It protects your top talents from burnout, preserves their innovative capacity, and ensures that creativity is not killed by stress. Because this talk also relates to career development, let's take a look at what it means to be a professional navigating today's job landscape. AI reshapes job content, skill requirements, and workplace expectations. But these changes depend heavily on the organization's culture behind the technology. So for your own career, it's important to consider not just what AI can do and what skills you need, but also how the organization implements it, how it measures productivity, and how it supports employees through change. Your job experience is shaped not only by the tools you use, but by the context in which you use them. When evaluating job opportunities for long-term paths, it's valuable to ask, does the organization offer meaningful training? Is there room to learn without constant pressure? How does leadership define productivity in the AI era? These questions reveal a lot about whether workplace is sustainable for you. And by the way, there's also a talk at 4:20 from Tina, which dives deeper into how you can integrate AI sustainably from an employee's perspective. I want to end this talk with a simple but important message. Technology shouldn't help us to make us work faster. Technology should help us to make our work feel better, to make a better environment, to make a better world. AI has incredible potential. It can ease burdens, reduce repetitive tasks, and open up creativity. But this potential is not automatic. It depends on the decisions organizations make, the expectations they set, and the support they generally offer to their employees. If we don't explicitly design for human-centered approach, work environments will accelerate by default. And if we don't consciously slow down, being constantly on pressure will become the new norm. If we don't rethink why we introduce AI, not just how, we risk reinforcing the very pressures we hoped to reduce. So, the three takeaways are: acceleration is not the same as progress, communication is key, and implementing AI wisely means also designing work not just for performance, but for sustainability and for quality of work. Thank you.